Welcome back to the Tabletop Nights. My name's Victor. I'm joined by Greg.
Hello.
Today we're doing a review of Stranger Things Upside Down from CMON Games. CMON, one of our favourite publishers, I'd say, at least one of mine. Up to 1 hour of gameplay, plus potentially 1 to 4 players. It does say 2 to 4, but you can definitely play it by yourself.
It is fully cooperative, so you can play this by yourself. For
100%,
sure.
100%. So we're going to do a really casual conversation about the game. We've got a few examples. We just finished playing. What did you think overall?
Overall, look, we had a blast playing it. It was definitely a fun experience. Lots to do. You could find it might become a little bit samey, but the randomness comes from the way the cards come out of the deck, the tokens and things here. But definitely sort of, as an overview, easy to learn and easy to play.
And look, we'll be honest, we played it 10 times at least. So
we've played it 10 and then we've gone, ooh, that was bad. Because we tried playing it with 2 characters. So I think...
well, let's go first into the gameplay aspect of it. So it's a relatively simple game to learn. I think we really only played through it one time before we got a real understanding of how it all works. There is a Season 1 and a Season 2 side. This is the Season 2 side. Again, learning the game only took us about 15 minutes, I'd say. But again, you obviously go back and refer to the rule book quite often. But yeah, what type of game is it essentially?
Well, it's kind of like a worker placement in that your characters are moving around the board and there's actions, so it's a location action game.
Yeah.
Feels a bit like the game Horrified, if you've ever played that. There's sort of tests and challenges that you have to meet along the way, which are these stacks of tokens. That's kind of it. It's
all within the Stranger Things
the world, that universe.
So it's which is very fun, very unique world.
And it does work. If you know the Netflix series, it kind of makes sense with what's going on. The characters are asymmetric with minor changes, but they do sort of feel like the actual characters from the show.
Yeah, 100%. So the game is split into a Season 1 and Season 2. So each side of the board has different unique things about it, which is really cool. So after we played Season 1, we went to Season 2, and we did have a few more rules that we had to add in. So it did vary it a little bit.
Look, you could definitely play both sides in an evening if you had friends coming out for a game night. But it's not a game you're going to pull out every week and play the same thing. Because it's very closely tied to an IP, you go... it can start to feel the same. There's definitely replayability in the randomness of the tokens, etc.
Yeah.
But I think the key thing would be, it's a good one to pull out for younger people. Even though it says 12 plus, I think you could teach this to an 8 or 10-year-old quite easily.
There's no violence in it that we've seen.
No, but also... It's a game that, if friends haven't played a lot of board games, it's a great introduction because they get into the stories. The minis are really cool. Should we talk about the components?
Let's talk about the components, and then we'll talk about how the game actually plays. So these minis here are actually painted by Greg, so they do not come painted, and you did a fantastic job. They're really lifelike. Greg, you've done a great job.
I had to put my super heavy reading glasses on to do it. They're quite. Look, it's probably like a 28 mil sort of size miniature.
The tokens are simple, standard. The minis are great. They actually go quite into high detail there. There's the
sort of typical
the
CMON minis.
Yeah, you can see the texture on their face, which is really cool. The art is really nice as well, really basic. It looks like the real actors as well.
Yeah, even on the ally cards, they do look like the people that you would you'd expect.
So here I'll show the...
And Season 1 and Season 2, you can see they've grown up a little bit.
Yeah, that's true as well.
They have changed a little bit.
Yeah. So the components are really, really cool. The box art's amazing.
The board's easy to understand and read.
Yeah.
It is double-sided, so you've got 2 slightly different games. The mechanisms are very similar. But there's different challenges between the 2 seasons.
So the basic way the game works is each character has 5 action cards in their hand that all have a number that represent how many successes, essentially. And all you have to do is beat the piles of the stacks of tokens with your cards. So once you beat this number here with your cards, it'd be a success, and you successfully beat that section. So in order to beat Act 1, for example, all you have to do is rescue Will. Will has 3 locations you have to beat. And then while you're doing that, there's enemies that
3
attack
in Season 1.
Yes.
And and 1 spot in Season 2.
Yes.
Yep.
So there's enemies attacking you while you're doing this, a Demogorgon, and then you've also got the Hawkins team trying to catch you as well.
Yeah, the patrols are driving around.
Yep. And then you've got things like items, you've got allies that add extra abilities, you've got a health bar, all that sort of stuff. So again,
and we can call on 11 every now and then for her special actions.
So 11 isn't a playable character in Season 1 or Season 2.
I didn't paint in the nosebleed though. I thought about it. But
it's child abuse. But yeah, the minis are fantastic as well.
Gameplay. From a learning capacity, I'd say definitely need an adult to help guide, but a 12-year-old could absolutely teach this to other people.
Yeah.
No problems whatsoever.
So we've already discussed this a little bit, but when we played our first sort of 7-8 games, we played with 2 characters. The difficulty was quite high at that stage. Again, the cards and the tokens are all random, so you might get bigger numbers than this. You might never see the 5, for example.
True.
And so beating the number can be difficult. But when we played with 2 characters, it was really difficult.
It was difficult also because you instantly lose when one of the characters
dies.
Hits 0, when they get fully freaked out, terrified. So having 4 characters allows you to spread that a little bit and make them less of a target for the Demogorgon or the Demodogs.
Demodogs, yeah. So if you want a slightly easier gameplay, definitely play with 4 people. And again, we play 2 characters per person, so you don't have to have a full table to play this.
Yeah, look, quite hard with 2.
Very difficult, actually.
But again, not complex. It's just hard to try and beat all the challenges.
Yeah, and again, we got unlucky with our draws, and there was a rule or 2 that we forgot, but which we fixed when we played it. So we do have videos on our YouTube channel of us actually playing the game. So if you want to see that, definitely go have a look.
I suppose, look, one of the other things we didn't suffer from in our Season 2 game was the end of day card.
That's true, yeah. So that is another way to fail the game. If you see this card 3 times, you lose the game.
Well, basically, if your action deck needs to be replenished.
That's true.
When 11's already in Act 3, if your action deck runs out, you're screwed.
So we did see that when we played with 2 characters, but we didn't even get close to that when we played with 4.
No, because it only came up once during our Season 2 game.
Yeah.
For sure.
So there is, so again, really simple to learn, but there is quite a lot of things to do that you need to do to be successful. So when we first played and we were dying a lot, it's because we were on opposite sides of the board, but there are a lot of reasons to stick together, like the radio on your card. It allows you to add an extra 1 to your success, and also there's a lot of cards in the deck that say if you're by yourself, you take a certain amount of damage and whatnot.
Fear,
yes.
Yeah, you never die. You just become terrified.
No, but they do die.
I would definitely say though, it felt more fun playing with the painted figures. It's when they were just grey blobs, you kind of go, oh yeah, but you start to care a little bit more when you paint them.
Definitely paint them, and again, the art's right here, so you got reference. You got reference.
Yeah, look, I think easy to learn, looks pretty, replayability. Again, it's an occasional game. It's actually, I think this would actually be quite a good solitaire game if you just want to sit quietly and work out the puzzle.
Yeah. Again, that's why I was checking my phone. Replayability is one of the things.
And I would say 3 characters might be the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Because 4 felt a little bit easy, 2 felt really hard, so 3 might be perfect.
I agree with that.
But
I'd be interested to see how Season 3 and 4 comes out if they do that, based on if this game's successful or not. They wouldn't need to release a whole new game. They would just need a board and maybe a character or 2.
Yeah, look, to be honest, I would say this is not an inexpensive game.
No.
So in Australia, I think it's like, $99 retail.
Yeah.
Which is probably about $60 US. So you go, you potentially, I would like a cheaper expansion.
Yeah.
Or something else included in the box to really lift it to that. Because you can pay $100 in Australia and get a full-on miniatures war game.
Yes, that's true.
With a stack of more components. But it's good at what it's trying to do.
Which is why you would want to buy a cheaper expansion.
Correct. I think you're right, though. If it just had a board and maybe some extra cards.
Yeah, and maybe one or two minis in there as well, potentially even. Just because new characters do come into the show.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, some new characters come in later on.
I wouldn't. Does anyone leave?
No, no one leaves.
No one leaves.
Some people die off, yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. All right, that was our review of Stranger Things Upside Down. Again, we don't really do many reviews, so we're really trying to head into that direction more. So please give us feedback on what we can do to improve our reviews.
Which Victor will give me in a second when we switch the camera off, I'm sure. Look, the only thing is, we don't want to just go, this bit's 2 out of 5, that's 3 out of 5. We'd rather just talk about how we felt about things.
It's too difficult to score a board game, in my opinion. But
because honestly, someone will say this is 5 out of 5.
And someone will say 1 out of 5.
It just depends on what floats your boat, right?
100%.
I would go, if you watch particularly our season 2 video of this, we laughed our heads off. We had a good time.
Absolute blast. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time. See ya.
See ya. Oh, you could subscribe there and watch a previous video there.